Police in Western Germany are continuing to forcibly evict climate activists from a town at the centre of a battle over coal mining. Protesters moved in to stop energy giant RWE from demolishing the homes to make way for operations. The government insists the coal there is essential to maintain energy supplies. Activists dispute this. They say Germany's climate goals need to come first.
One by one, police removed the activists occupying Lützerath. Authorities say several hundred left the village voluntarily. Most others resisting peacefully, as officers moved in to dislodge them from tree houses, suspended platforms and the rooftops of abandoned homes. Their goal? To stop energy giant RWE from excavating lignite, the dirtiest form of coal, from deep beneath the village.
Just by burning the coal from under the village, Germany is breaking the Paris Climate Agreement. And at a time when the climate crisis is escalating, we have to make sure that emissions are drastically reduced, and that's why coal mining has to stop here now.
The German government has struck a deal with the energy company to phase out coal by 2030. The demolition of this village is part of a compromise. Excavate here now, spare others in the future.
This means that a large part of the villages actually earmarked for demolition will not be demolished. Localities where hundreds of people still live will not lose their homes. I do think that protest needs symbols, but Lützerath, where nobody lives anymore, is a wrong symbol.
With the war in Ukraine and the energy crisis, coal has seen a revival in Germany. Still, experts doubt that the coal underneath Lützerath is really needed.
Our studies and also other studies show that it's not necessary to mine the coal, especially beyond and below the village of Lützerath in North Rhine-Westphalia, because we do have enough coal in other areas of Garzweiler and the other mining regions that is necessary to meet the energy transition and also the climate goals.
But in the end, it's energy company RWE who legally owns the village, and they want to stick to their plans. They expect profits worth several billion euros from the additional coal. The police operation to clear the activists has proved complex and highly divisive as Germany grapples with its energy transition.
And I'm joined by our reporter Leonie von Hammerstein, who's on the ground for us in Lützerath. Leonie, we talked yesterday when police began evicting these climate activists. How are things looking today?
Hi, Ben. Good morning. Yes, we talked yesterday when police were just starting out, and they've progressed a lot over those past 24 hours. What you can see behind me is that they are now moving into the houses of Lützerath, the last few remaining houses, where activists, a couple of hundred, it is estimated, still have barricaded themselves. And we've seen over the course of the morning activists being carried out of this particular farm and police moving in with heavy machinery. But it's not the only house where activists are still keeping their ground. If we can go around here, here you can see the last remaining houses of Lützerath, a few of them where activists are still inside, and that looks like the first target of police today. There's also still people occupying the somewhat over 20 tree houses in Lützerath. But as you can see, the weather is pretty bad. It's windy, stormy, rainy, and there's even a little bit of hail. So we'll expect, so we'll see how the day goes, how long the activists, especially on the tree houses, can keep their ground.
Yeah, because some of them have chained themselves to tree houses, I believe. What's the atmosphere like there today? Yesterday things were quite peaceful.
exactly. Besides for a few scuffles between police and protesters in the morning, with some rocks being thrown at police and fireworks. And I mean, activists have told me that police has also been behaving violently towards them in a few instances. But besides that, it does remain pretty peaceful. A lot of the activists are being carried out of Lützerath in a very peaceful and quiet way. But police do expect things to maybe get a bit more heated in the houses today and the barns that are still occupied. And I talked to some activists today who say that they feel they still want to keep their ground here. They feel pretty hopeful because they've gotten so much support. There were a few open letters signed by scientists, but also celebrities here in Germany, and they've received a lot of messages for support. There are protests announced today also by Fridays for Future, and on the weekend there will be a huge protest. So they hope to stand their ground here.
Briefly, Leonie, can you explain to our international viewers why Lützerath has become the flashpoint in this long-running battle between climate protesters and coal mining firms?
Well, basically, it's become kind of emblematic of the country's struggle to phase out of the burning of fossil fuels, while at the same time being in an energy crisis. You have RWE, the German government, on the one hand, who say the coal is needed. They're backed by several studies and by court rulings. And on the other hand, you have the activists also backed by studies and scientists who say this coal down here is not needed. We need to talk about the climate crisis that is happening right now, and no more fossil fuels can be burned. So, you know, and Lützerath has become sort of the symbol of that debate that is going on in the country.